So on this episode of PCOS Talk JA, we will be speaking about dun 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 weight and PCOS because I feel like it's a very big topic. It's a popular topic. People talk about it a lot because it's a big part of having PCOS. So today we're gonna delve a little bit into my struggles with weight and a little bit about other people's experiences with weight and potentially what could be happening with you and weight when it comes to PCOS. So let's go. For me, weight gain was definitely one of the first symptoms that I noticed with PCOS. That was before I was diagnosed. So that was like back in high school. I would have started out at about like 120 pounds when I was in grade maybe 10. So I would have been around maybe 14. And then I started to gain weight. Nothing changed. I wasn't eating more. I wasn't, and everything except for stress. I was a little bit more stressed at that time. But nothing else was really different. And I started to notice that I was gaining weight. And of course, if you're Jamaican, you know what happens when you gain weight. People start to point out that you are gaining weight. And so I've moved from like 120 to 160, probably over the course of 2 years. So by the time I was graduating high school, I was a bit heavier, and then going into college, and I just would keep gaining weight. I didn't notice that it was a problem until I got to college and I actually started to try to lose weight. So I went to the University of the West Indies, UA. And if you know UA Mona campus, the campus is huge. Well, to me, it's big. Compared to my high school place, it's big. So I used to do a lot of walking. And even with the whole heap of walking and stuff, I was still gaining weight. So it started to become a problem because after I graduated and I started, to get into weight loss, I would notice that I've really gained a lot of weight. I would not fit into my clothes and constantly having to be getting bigger sizes and things like that. And when I actually started to actively try to lose weight, nothing would happen. I would literally lose no weight. So for example, if I'm doing a weight loss challenge with a bunch of people and I go just as hard or harder than everybody else, eating clean, exercising how I'm supposed to, drinking my water, there'll be other people over the span of that weight loss program that will lose between like 10 and 30 pounds, and I would lose 4, if so much. And not just like weight, because sometimes you'll be losing weight but you don't see it on the scale because you'll be converting fat to muscle. I also was not getting much difference in measurements, and that was one of the early indicators for me that something was off, because I was just like, this feels too hard, like this not this I mean, I think this normal. So that contributed in part to me ending up getting diagnosed. So one of the huge issues with PCOS and weight from my perspective is not just the fact that how you feel about your body with the challenges you have with weight, whether it be the fact that your weight fluctuates or you gain a lot of weight and you can't lose it. It's also, or more so for me, the fact that people they don't shut their mouth, okay? So somebody sees you and you've obviously put on weight, because I'm the person getting fat. I can't tell that I'm getting fat. I'm not seeing it in my clothes. My clothes them still fit me and everything. Yeah, I'm not for buy new clothes ever so often. But the fact that people will see you and they will be like, Olivia, you get fatty, or yeah, man, you put on weight, man, or what you do, or every time I see you, you get fat. People can't mind their business. Like that's rude. Like the person who you're telling that they are getting fat, them know so them fat. Them look on themselves in the mirror and them can see, so them put on weight. People don't need to be telling people this. And it also happens in the reverse, because there are people that have PCOS that have the reverse problem, or weight is not a problem for them at all. So you see somebody and they've lost weight and you see all the collarbone, you want some porridge, you need to take a wash out, you have worm. Like that for me was, well, not was. I said was because I've learned to be more, not accepting, but to ignore people more. I feel rude back to them when them say things like that to me. But like initially when it just started to happen and I did not know what was happening, it was extremely hard for me to kind of like reconcile my feelings about how I'm feeling about my body and it changing with somebody constantly saying or like trying to remind me or tell me that I'm getting fat. Like, brethren, I know say me I get fat. You don't have to tell me. For me, when I realized that I was putting on all of this weight and I started to try to lose the weight, I don't think there was anything me never try, if me being honest. Like, I tried clean eating, doing high intensity workouts, weightlifting. I did all of that, and the most effective it was, and most of this I should say was before I'd actually gotten my PCOS diagnosis. So I didn't know what was happening. I just knew that I had gained this whole heap of weight and I wanted to lose it, and I was trying to lose it, and it wasn't coming off. So the most results I've ever gotten was from when I was eating clean, and when I say eat clean, I mean more balanced. So I wasn't having a lot of processed foods. I was eating a lot more beans, vegetables, fruits. I was drinking my water, and I would exercise like 4 times a week. And that was the probably best I felt in that time when I was trying to lose weight on my own, simply because I think I was giving my body a part of what it needed. So I was eating well, which you should do in either case. I was exercising, including movement, which you should do in any case. I was drinking water, which you should do in any case. But that was the best I felt. But I still had noticed that I was not a lot was happening in terms of weight loss, which was the aim at the time, because I didn't know what was happening. And then when that wasn't working, the dolly tried something else. So I've done, I think, I don't remember what it's called, but it's where you get HCG, that's the pregnancy hormone. You take injections of that hormone, and that is supposed to like prompt your body. I don't remember how it works, but it's like it's supposed to prompt your body to lose weight. So I was on a restricted diet. I could eat certain things, and I get a meal plan of what I'm supposed to eat and when I'm supposed to eat it. And for, I don't remember how long, I would take injections of HCG, and then when it reached to the end of the period, I would stop taking it. Listen, don't do that. I don't really care what people say. Like, generally, I try not to give people advice. I'll be like, oh, speak to your medical professional. Me, I tell them, say, no bother with that one day. Because I had a period for 3 straight months after doing that. Because the person that I did that program through was not a doctor. And remember, I had not been diagnosed with PCOS yet. And this is why you should not do these sorts of things unless you're doing it like with a professional or a certain level of a professional. Because if I had been diagnosed at the time, I would have known that that's a terrible idea for me because I have PCOS. And anyways, my foolish advice, just sometime when your doctor talk, listen to them. So I did that. I was bleeding for 3 months. So I had to go to the doctor and be like, yo, I have been having a non-stop flow for 3 months. And I needed to stop. And so he gave me either a shot or pills to make the bleeding stop, because it was making me very, very fatigued. So I did that. And I did not lose. I don't remember if I must have lost weight, but I don't remember how much weight I lost. Obviously, it was not very effective, because when you come off of a restrictive diet, you go back to eating like crap, because it was not sustainable for me. What else did I try? I feel like I've tried almost everything under the sun, like more take wash out mode out. And if you know, you've probably tried it all and nothing has really worked. So I got to the point where I was so frustrated that I kind of stopped. Like, I would have talked about it before in the previous episode about, how I got to where I am. I kind of just, after I got diagnosed, I was just like, okay, whatever. I just stopped trying. I know that I have gotten back into treatment and figured out that I have issues with insulin, and that's what causes the weight retention and the weight gain. I know that I have my sugar under control. I have started to see a difference in my weight and in my body. So I don't weigh myself. Like, generally when I go to the doctor and they take my weight, I don't ask them what it is. I don't look at it. I know they take my weight to track progress. So I don't refuse to be weighed, but I refuse to look. I didn't want to know. But before, when I was tracking, I think I would have been at my heaviest at like 212 pounds or something like that. And now I'm at about 186. And that's about, after like 2 years of taking metformin, I have done nothing else. When I tell you, say, me not do nothing else, I mean, I haven't been exercising. I still been eating like crap. I don't drink enough water. I don't really take my vitamins. You understand me? Except for my B12. And I have lost this much weight in the time. And I say that to say that a lot of times when we focus on weight loss as the goal, and it's okay to want to lose weight, especially when you don't feel good in your body and it makes you uncomfortable and things like that. But like, focusing on the weight loss without getting to the root cause of why it's happening don't really serve no purpose, because then you'll be doing all kind of something and them not working, because you're not really addressing why this weight thing is happening in the first place. So with getting treatment, I have managed to have a more, I'm gonna call it a more healthy weight, simply because I would not have gained that much weight if the insulin resistance was not occurring in the first place. But now I'm trying to incorporate more movement and eating better just for my overall health, and trying to take the focus off of just losing weight, because then it also takes the pressure off me that, if I don't lose a single pound, it won't really matter to me, because that was not the aim. The aim was to feel better in my body, to have more endurance, to have more stamina, for be able to up, jump, skip, boom, flick up on my head top, I something. Yeah, that's why I'm working out and trying to eat properly. No, I've kind of, over the last couple of years, shifted into a space where people say I'm like a body positive person, but it really didn't come from me trying to be positive about my body, because if I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all, I don't love my body, and that's not a lie. Like, I'm not gonna tell no lie, I'm not like my body none at all, like 99% of the time. But like, if you would see content that I put out, especially like around my birthday, so for a couple of years now, I've been doing, I have a tradition where I take nude or like semi-nude photos of myself, and it stemmed from when like you spend a lot of time on social media and you look and you see the people, like you look and you say, none of these people look like me. Like I don't see people taking these nice artistic picture, you know, them body fold up and them and hide the little parts and if you hide and you're like, none of these people look like me. So I was just like, I want to take pictures like this. And so I said that, and my friends, aka Terry, was just like, yeah, let's do it. And I was just like, okay, all right, yeah, go do it. Trembling, shaking, and we did it the first year. And I was just like, the response was just so positive, not in terms of, oh girl, you look good, and people did say that, and I appreciate that, but it was more the case of other people could relate to the backstory of why I was doing what I was doing. And they were like, a lot of people actually were like, it's so nice to see you do this, because it's the same type of thing I was saying. I don't often see people who look like me doing things like this, and people really appreciate it. And I was just like, okay, well, I like this, because even though sometimes when I look at a picture, like I don't necessarily like how my body looked, the photos were still beautiful. Like I still looked beautiful even in the moments where I was trying to pick myself apart. And then compounded with that, the fact that, it also gave other people, a boost. They were like, yes, somebody who look like me doing hot girl shit. We love to see it. So that's kind of how it started. But I was not, and I would say I am not very body positive. I do it because I do things like this because I want to do things like this, and I'm just like, the fuck say me fat enough to stop me from doing it because me want to do it. And so that's kind of how it's been morphing, and it's been like really difficult to be confident as a fat person, because it's like the world hates fat people. Shit, I must say, the world hates fat people, and it's like being fat is always a problem. Like if you're fat, people don't want to sit down beside you at the bus, or the man them have the sticker them on the taxi them but no fat chicks allowed. That's fat phobia, by the way. And it's just how it's so ingrained into people to have these sometimes micro and outright aggression, especially towards fat women. And things like the clothing industry and finding clothes that fit, like you'd like, well, I don't know how upsetting it is to go into a store and not find a single solitary thing that fits. And if you do find something that fits, it ugly. Why is everything for fat people floral? I love floral. I love floral, but sometimes I really would just like a plain piece of clothing like you have for the straight size people over there. I would like that very same thing in a XL or a 2X. Like, why it only go up to large, and then a large is not even really large, because technically speaking, a large me wear now, and I'm just like, what the things I want that sell me before that was large was not large. Anyways, rant aside, it's very tough to feel confident when, like, in spaces that you go to, just things that you have to put on your body. You literally cannot find clothes to wear. And if you're getting clothes, you have to go boutique, or you have to know like which companies to buy for, and stuff is usually more expensive. Like like before Shein, and I know we are not fast fashion stands, because I love sustainability, but this is my problematic take of the episode. On the need for leave fat people and Shein alone. Just make what have Shein, because before now we could have gone nowhere else go find the clothes in a 3X. Well, we could have get for reasonable price. Yes, me know it probably reasonable, because the people them wicked, and them do some things that them not fair doing in China. So, but I mean, people who wear sizes that they can go into a store and find something in your size do not talk to fat people about buying clothes on Shein. Because before now, we couldn't find no way for buying no clothes. You understand? Well, you don't understand. But yeah. So now trying to be more like comfortable and like content in my body, like it fluctuates day to day. Some days I'm okay, and then another day I feel like shit, and I just a ball, and I say, oh, me eat my body, and oh, it's still bad, and oh, it don't work, oh, it's supposed to work, and it's upsetting. And then other days I'm just like, okay, it all right, you know, it can go on. There are very few days where I'm like, yes, I'm that bitch. And those days are great days, but they are very, you know, few and far between. But I mean, I feel like everything is a journey and a process. And my hope for myself and a lot of other people is not even necessarily to be body positive, but at least just to be neutral. So you can look at or be in your body and say, okay, this is okay. It don't have to be to the point of love, but I would at least not want us to be on the side of hating our bodies. And the days that you do feel like you hate your body, that's also okay. You feel how you feel. I'm understand, because I have those days as well. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is I just want to say that a lot of this has been about my experience and how I would have felt being like having my issues with weight. But there are a lot of women who do have PCOS who don't struggle with weight gain in this way. So I know quite a few women with PCOS who have what we call lean PCOS, which is where they're not fat. So some of them, like they would say too, that sometimes they feel very isolated from the PCOS community because it focuses so much around weight, and it, you know, fixated on weight, and the doctors even will say to them, oh, but you don't fat, so you can't have PCOS and stuff like that. Not just doctors and other people. But you can have PCOS and not have issues with weight gain. It's just one of the symptoms, and some people don't have it. It don't mean them don't have PCOS. It don't mean them not supposed to get treatment. It don't mean their PCOS is not bad, because they could be a healthy weight and all of the other symptoms them mash them up. You understand me? They could have the terrible hirsutism, they could have acne, they could have issues with their uterus, fertility, kidney disease, all of this something of them. So I just say that to say that not because this is not your struggle, or this is not the struggle of every single woman with PCOS, it doesn't mean that PCOS is any less hard for them because they don't gain a lot of weight. And then some of them have the reverse problem where they try to gain weight and they cannot. So is a similar thing. So just like how people will tease fat people about their weight, they will tease them about the fact that they're slim. And they'll be trying to gain weight, whether in the gym or muscle, you know, forget the little bottom, and then won't forget the thick thighs or the arms, and them just can't do it because their body will not do the thing. So just keep that in mind. Your experience is valid if you have lean PCOS, and don't try to tell people say them don't have PCOS because them don't fat. That was my phone.
And on that bombshell,
Seal it, seal. Seal it, seal. Thank you for joining us on this episode of PCOS Talk JA. We will see you next time, and remember to follow us at PCOS Talk JA. PCOS Talk JA is a Time by Team production.